Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our discussion on the Songland Season 2 finale. They have saved Usher for the very, very end to the surprise of no one. We've got one of the bigger names that we've had all season long, and there was more dancing, I feel like, in this episode than any other point. Shane getting down in like the studio is an image that will stick with me for some time.
I was really excited to see Usher on this episode because a lot of this season has been me getting to know artists that I hadn't heard before, which was really fun. But I get a lot of excitement from, oh, it's Usher, or oh my goodness, it's BOYZ II Men. Like, that's the type of feeling that I really enjoy too. So it's cool that they saved him till the end.
I feel like Usher has been a part of my life for like the majority of my life. I remember doing weird Usher lip syncs in like high school for some reason. It's a different story, not something to dive into now, but
I also have an Usher story time that involves me and him and being in a shoe store at one point many years ago, but that's a story time for another time.
yeah, this is the weird Usher story time episode. But anyway, this is, I think, a fun episode. Like, at first, I wasn't in on the winner, but then the more I've thought about it, the more I've been convincing myself more and more into the winner because the song has not left my head in the past couple hours since we watched the episode. But before we dive into this finale, if you guys like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other updates.
So we're going to talk about the person who won. So we're talking about Ryan Cam. We're talking about California, which was called Staying Over. Now it's called California. It seems like every time there's a song that kind of has to do with a place, I mean, those songs in general just do very well. You mentioned New York, you mentioned Miami, you mentioned California, these types of songs. People really gravitate to them. So I wasn't too surprised when I sort of heard what it was about and that idea of, sort of a love where you're separated and, are you thinking about me out there? I'm thinking about you out here. That kind of feeling. There's so many people that can relate to that.
I feel like there is just this huge surplus of songs that have California in the title already.
Even just this season.
Yeah. California Dreaming, Hotel California. There's so many of them, and I think the important thing is, okay, you got to find a way to sort of find a new sentiment that is not fully out there about it yet. And I do at least feel like this song gives us a little bit of different flair to California than what I've seen before.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there is a lot of sort of like, we're partying in California, or we're doing this, or we're doing that. But it did give something a little bit different. Actually, even seeing at the end that he had changed it around a little bit and added some rap to it and all that, it was really cool. I really, really liked it. There was another song that I thought he was going to choose. I was like, man, that would be really good for Usher. But when I saw what he did with it by the end of this, I was like, man, this is a killer song.
It felt a lot more like Usher. It felt a little bit like The Weeknd too, sort of throwing them together into one. But I think it worked really well. It was a pretty big change, honestly, between like the final performance on Songland by Ryan to actually then hearing the Usher song, because
True.
There's a slightly different backing track here. Now we've brought in Tyga, who's doing like some rap interlude. Hey, Usher's making it into whatever Usher needs to make it into. I think when you have a billion hits like he has, you've sort of bought yourself a lot of free will that people are going to be like, yeah, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it also wasn't too much of a surprise that the person that was working with Esther is now also the one person that Usher has chosen. They have a relationship. But not only that, but she knows how to usherize a song. That's now a word.
Yeah.
Usherize. Because she knows him and she knows the type of stuff that he's going to like. So she's able to kind of be like, okay, I know this artist so well and I know what he's looking for and what's going to sound really good with his voice.
Yeah, this was for sure the Esther Dean Ringer episode where it's so obvious. It was like early on in the season when we had Lady A on the show,
Yeah.
and it was like, oh, yeah, okay, so this is Shane's time to shine, and he's
Yeah.
got this. He's figured it out. The other moment I found particularly entertaining in this episode is when you had Miranda Glory up there singing her new version of Salty, the original song, is you had Ryan Tedder. I feel like once a season he feels like he needs to like put on the cape and be like, I got this. And then he's going to come up there and start singing. And he's like, all right, this is the finale. I haven't done it enough. It's time. And then he just gets up there, and he's not even singing the full song. He's just like there with the choruses. I'm like, Ryan, you could have let somebody else do this.
Yeah, and it was interesting about this song because when I first heard this song, I felt the same thing that they said, where it feels like this is a song that's being sung by a woman.
Yeah.
And the lyrics felt exactly like that. So when I heard it come back later, I was like, oh my goodness, this doesn't even feel like the same song at all. And for me, I like watching this show when they take a song and then they change it, but after they've changed it, I still feel sort of the beginnings of that song, and not that it's so changed. It's like I don't even recognize where it came from anymore. That song doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah, I think there was too much of a transformation here. I think it needed like one more stage to maybe get it to the finish line. I mean, David's song, I at least feel like it started as Horse and Carriage, which I kind of liked as the name of the song. It felt kind of like a pseudo sequel to Old Town Road in that sort of way. You get your horse and carriage, you go down Old Town Road, but I feel really it was catchy enough, but I don't think it ever really hit that point where it was like, I gotta hear Usher's version of this because it's gonna get stuck in my head for weeks on end.
I disagree.
All right.
I had that stuck in my head after I heard it. I wasn't crazy about the name of it, but I also wasn't crazy about really any of the names. Staying Over, I was like, I don't know. Salty, I was like, okay, I get that. It's kind of catchy, I guess. But, and Billions, I was like, I don't know, man. It could mean so many different things.
Yeah.
But the song was really catchy. The groove was really catchy. I love songs, so, I mean, I really enjoyed that as well. I thought that he was going to be a win. I really did. It was so catchy, and having them all sort of sing along with it, I was like, man, if it's catchy to them, I'm singing it, this is where they're going, it could be.
I thought, before I heard the new version of California, I was there with you. I thought this was going to be the song, but then I heard California, I was like, okay, and I didn't love it at first, but like I've said, I've been letting it stew in my head for these past few hours. I remember the melody, I remember the hook, I don't remember any other hook as solid anymore. I feel it. I don't think any of these songs still are going to bring me back to like the Usher heyday, which for me is like, yeah, and Let It Burn, like all that sort of stuff, or You Got It Bad. And none of this is like quintessential Usher.
No, it's not. But I mean, Usher as an artist has changed over time. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Usher has been able to stay relevant in a time where a lot of people don't. They don't move along and change with the times like a David Bowie or somebody like that. I'm not saying Usher's like David Bowie, but he's been able to make those changes as music changes and go with that flow. And because he's adaptable like that, that is why, even though this isn't old school Usher, it's why he's still successful and he's still such a huge name.
Now, this is the end of Songland Season 2, and I hope that there's another season of the show down the road, because I just feel like it's something we all kind of need, because how many shows out there encourage the creative process and actually get you thinking about new ideas, how you want to frame things? I just have one question. Why hasn't executive producer Adam Levine been on this show with his own band? Dude, you're one of the people responsible for the show.
My guess is he's busy, he's on tour, he's doing whatever, but yes, he does need to be on the show. And I agree, this show is really cool because it is a complete pull back the curtain, let's see how the creative process works. Because, I mean, As a writer, I understand that idea of somebody taking something you've poured your whole heart into and then ripping it apart to make it all these different things, that can be a really hard process. So to see other people that are going on there, they're like, yeah, I poured my whole heart into the song. Yeah, let's tear it apart and build it up to be even better. It's really awesome because it's something you don't always see. People are very protective over their writing.
This was a fun season. I think I'm really strong into it. We'll see what the future holds. But for now, do you guys think Usher picked the right song? Are you with Jess here? Do you feel like he should have went with David's? Let us know your pick. And also, do you want another season in the comments? And if you do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking the link in the description to the store. And we'll see you here next time.